Hello, welcome to Wilson's Barbecue. In this video I'm going to do a walk round and a little bit of a review of the Smokey Oak Barbecue Backyard Edition offset smoker.
So over the last year or so, I've been working with John and Jack at Smokey Oak Barbecue to help them with fine-tune their Backyard Edition offset style pit. I'm going to show you around the pit, take some measurements, get a fire going, probably cook some chicken, and just generally tell you my thoughts on the time that I've had with this smoker. So let's start off with probably my favourite thing about this pit, and that's the firebox. So in terms of the firebox length, we're looking at about 28 inches or 710 mil, and we've got a nice wide firebox at 26 inches or 660 mil. So if you're anything like me with an offset, you really appreciate a large firebox. It allows you a bit more flexibility to move the fire back and forth, and I find that you're able to kind of get less temperature swings with a nice big firebox. So just looking at the kind of log size that these pits take, this would be your kind of average backyard size split. This is what Smokey Oak Barbecue actually sell. This would do well in something like a Cactus Jack or a Oklahoma Joe's. And for this pit, I use slightly larger splits. So in terms of the full length of the cook chamber, you're about 60 inches or 1500 mil. Oh, that's a heavy door. So this pit comes with two roll-out racks, 25 inches or 630 mil. And you've also got a pull-out top shelf, which is just over 19 inches or 490 mil. So one of the things that I love about this pit is the insulated removable stack. The insulation on the stack is really good for draw. It means that as the heat is leaving, it doesn't cool down, and it makes sure that that draw and that airflow is constant all the way until it leaves the stack. It's got a classic collector style. That's really useful. It helps to move the hot spot back so you can cook a lot closer to the stack side without getting a real hot spot on this side of the smoker. So this pit comes with two Tell-True Smokey Oak branded thermometers, both at great level. There's plenty of wood storage underneath, which is really useful for me because I don't have a ton of room in my garden. So being able to stack this smoky wood under here is really helpful. This model comes with the inflated tyres, which was really helpful when getting onto this deck, much easier than the caster style. So they are caster style at the front, but they're fairly soft, so it moves across pavement pretty easily if you need to get it up your drive or anything like that. We've got a ball valve drainage system underneath, which is really useful. So as I said at the start, I really like a large firebox so I can move the fire back and forth. And this firebox is plenty long enough and wide enough for me to be able to do that with a long handled shovel, so I don't have to crouch down or get on my knees to manage the fire, get too close, burn my eyelashes. I can use a long handled shovel and easily manage that fire. So whilst we've got a nice fire go, we may as well throw some chicken on. Just got some chicken hearts that I'm going to throw onto the top rack. This smoker's got some real nice top down heat and it's a lot hotter up there, and I want these chickens to cook nice and fast. So we get these on while we look at the rest of the smoker. So we've got some chickens on, so now's a good time to talk about how this pit cooks. So if you've watched my videos before, you'll know that I'm all about cooking with lots of convection, lots of airflow, and that to me is what makes a good offset smoker. So just by looking at the fire itself, you can see the flames are kind of pulling back towards the opening, the exchange or the throat of the pit, and that's telling you that there's a lot of airflow pulling that hot air through the cook chamber and out through the stack. And that's largely thanks to that insulated, nice tall stack. This means that you don't get many flame outs because there's so much air rushing in. That coal bed is always pretty hot, so I don't have to pre-warm my logs, although I do set them up here just so they're easy to grab. But overall, it makes fire management pretty easy, just like cooking on a 250 or a 500 gallon. The bigger smoker you get, the easier it is to manage the fire, and with this relatively small 130 gallon backyard pit, it's just about as easy as it gets. So a lot of people ask, when am I going to do cooks on my Franklin barbecue pit, which is just behind me, and they ask whether I use it that much because they don't often see me use it on YouTube or Instagram. And also, how does the Smokey Oak barbecue pit compare to the Franklin pit? So I don't have a huge amount to say on that really, other than the Smokey Oak just feels like a larger Franklin barbecue pit. Now, when I first got the Franklin pit, the thing that surprised me the most was the amount of convection and draw and airflow that's running through it, and it's been engineered specifically to cook that way. And as I talked about earlier, that just makes fire management easy. It means that you're going to get clean smoke more often than not without too much effort, and it cooks really evenly. And for me, The 130 gallon, as I say, just feels like a bigger version of that. The guys at Smokey have done a really good job at making sure that this offset cooks like an offset should and doesn't just look the part. So there's a ton of airflow running through it. It makes cooking really easy. So even if I'm just cooking a couple of chickens or a turkey breast for myself, or even just one brisket, I'll generally opt for the Smokey Oak, mainly because I like the size of the firebox and it's easier to use. It cooks just as well anyway, and because it has a semi-insulated firebox, you don't burn through that much more wood anyway. So in terms of capacity on this cooker, you can fit pretty comfortably 5 pretty large briskets on the bottom rack. I've cooked 6 briskets on here, and that's the most I've cooked. I had to use the top rack, but I just rotated them every now and then to keep things even. This will hold a lot of sausage, a lot of turkey, a lot of ribs, perfect for a small catering operation. And that's pretty much the overview of the Smokey Oak Barbecue Offset Backyard Edition. If I've left anything out, please drop a comment below, or go check out the Smokey Oak Barbecue website. There's loads of information on there. Or drop John and Jack a message on Instagram or on their website. They'll definitely be able to help you out. If you're in the market for a backyard pit on the larger side of things, I'll definitely recommend the Smokey Oak. This is going to be able to cook for a lot of people, and if you want to start getting into catering, this is a good first step.